Today, I'm here with Bedros Keuilian, an entrepreneur that started out as a 6-year-old immigrant from the Soviet Union whose parents barely made ends meet and literally had to wash his hair with gasoline when they couldn't afford lice treatment.
People are like, oh my God, that's crazy, that's child abuse. Well, maybe today it's child abuse, but it killed the lice and I still have my hair.
Now, he's the head of one of the fastest growing franchises, and his company, Fit Body Bootcamp, approaches 1,000 locations worldwide and growing.
We're adding an average of about 27 locations per month right now.
And today, he'll be sharing his secrets to success and how his brand has been able to stand out from all the noise and explode through what's seemingly a saturated market.
Winners will always win. Become a winner.
GSD Con is the #1 fitness studio conference on planet Earth. And if you haven't registered and gotten your tickets already, you better hurry as they're limited and selling out fast. We've now had the privilege of working with over 1,400 fitness studios from all over the globe and have asked the best of them to come share their growth strategies with you.
I enjoyed GSD Con. It was amazing. Great event. The last couple days have been awesome.
Every single speaker, everything that they talked about today, I can absolutely implement and take back to my business.
This conference feels like a roadmap to make sure that we're heading in the right direction, that we're meeting our goals.
One of the biggest takeaways from the event is the idea that you don't have to do this alone.
To learn more, go to gsdcon.com. Again, that's gsdcon.com.
Fit Body Bootcamp's been around since 2009, technically 2010, so going on 10 years. And we started off as a licensing program, and in 2012 became an official franchise. And in that time, we've become the 122nd fastest growing franchise on the planet out of 175,000 franchises worldwide.
Fit Body Bootcamp is a very popular boutique fitness franchise that as of the first quarter of 2019 has grown to over 800 locations. It's a 30-minute workout that's designed to get their members great results in a group training environment that's affordable, convenient, and fun. And they're adding more new locations every month.
We're adding an average of about 27 locations per month right now. And the entire goal of Fit Body Bootcamp is to take the one-on-one personal training results that a client would get and bring down the cost and make it more convenient.
If you know me well, you know one of my favorite books is The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And Bedros practices philosophy perfectly. Listen to how he attributes his focus to the incredible success Fit Body Bootcamp has had by avoiding the minutia.
We don't have mirrors. We do one thing we do better than anybody else, which is 30-minute workouts that burn fat, build muscle, and improve your mindset, and give you results. And when we focus on that one thing, the business continues to grow. In the beginning, when I focused on, well, maybe we want juice bars, maybe we're gonna add a kids club, we're gonna have showers, an absolute waste of time and energy, and the business would stall. We're focused on giving results, and the results come great, and word of mouth continues, and we just continue to grow, so we're very fortunate.
Later in the episode, Bedros and I will dive deep into the strategies that has made this franchise such a success. But first, I wanted to know the story behind the franchise and how it all started.
So if you imagine in 2008, the economy crashed. And when the economy crashed, at that time, I had already sold all my personal training gyms. I had one-on-one personal training gyms, 5 of them throughout San Diego. Pre-economy crash, one-on-one personal training was thriving. People had money, homes were selling like hotcakes, everyone had great jobs. Once the economy crashed in 2008, all of a sudden people are broke, money goes away, people are losing their homes, and they're not working with one-on-one personal trainers. And so the personal trainers that I was coaching and consulting were starting to really panic, like, hey man, I'm having a hard time getting clients, maintaining clients, getting referrals, and it's impacting my business, and I think it's because of the economy crash.
It was at this time that Bedros first noticed outdoor boot camps. This is where personal trainers were charging a low price for people to join them at local parks or fields for about 30 to 60-minute group training sessions.
Every personal trainer in like pre-2008 treated outdoor boot camps almost like a side gig, like a weekend. On the weekends, I do boot camps at the park or at the beach, but my main gig is one-on-one personal training. So when the tide shifted with the economy, I realized if we can bring this outdoor boot camp indoors, it will reduce the cost of personal training, making it more affordable and convenient for the masses again. And so I said, well, how do we take a personal training program that typically costs $600 to $1,200 a month, bring it down to under $200, $150 to $199 a month, right? That's justifiable by most people who really care about their health and fitness and well-being. And so I literally rented out a gymnastics center in the mornings because they didn't have their, the kids coming in there until after school, to test it out because I wasn't sure, like, is this really gonna work? Maybe it's just a harebrained idea. And so the gymnastics center let me bring some dumbbells and kettlebells and furniture sliders, and they've got that carpet bonded foam. And here we are almost a decade later. And if you look at the flooring in all Fit Body Bootcamp locations, it's still the 1.25 inch carpet bonded foam that you would find at a gymnastics center. So that's our nod to our heritage where we started. But the whole idea was, I'm gonna bring this outdoor boot camp indoors, and it's gonna work.
And it definitely did. Bedros turned this simple concept into a legitimate business model with thriving locations, some having 250 to 500 members. And since it was a group training model versus a one-on-one model, the margins grew exponentially.
You're not running a one-on-one program where your payroll is, chasing your revenue. Now you've got this gap between payroll and revenue open, and that's where the profit margins are. So it's a win for the clients, it's a win for the people running it.
So let's do the math. A personal trainer that charges $75 an hour to privately train one client with a back-to-back schedule that fills an 8-hour day, 5 days per week, would have a maximum potential of earning $156,000 a year, which definitely is a healthy income. But there are no days off, and unless you raise your prices or sell more to your customers, you've pretty much tapped out. In the group training model, if you can have just 250 members pay you $150 a month, that's an income of $37,500 per month and an annual income of $450,000. A difference of $294,000 per year, with the capacity to still take on more members and profits to hire trainers to help so you can take time off and not be a slave to your business. Many franchises that start up in every industry, not just fitness, struggle to grow or even stay in business. I asked Bedros what he believes separates the franchises that thrive and the ones that die.
You look at Cold Stone Creamery, you look at Quiznos, you look at Curves, right? So there's restaurant, there's desserts, there's fitness. All of them collapsed for one reason and one reason only. They ultimately got adversarial with the franchisor. The franchisees got adversarial with the franchisor. One, the franchisor did not have a clear vision of what the operators needed to look like. Two, they were bringing anybody and everybody on board because it's hard to say no to money.
When bringing on a new franchise, you're essentially trusting the brand you've worked hard to build to someone in that specific location. If they don't continue to build that brand with you, it can really hurt the franchise as a whole. I wanted to see what Bedros does to protect his vision.
We're very particular about who we bring on board and why we bring them on board. If they're just looking to make quick cash, like, they fill out a giant application, it's over a 3-month process to bring a franchisee on board. When we award a franchise to someone, it's because they meet our core values, they're in line with our mission, and they understand and are on board with the vision. So it all starts there: vision, mission, values. So are they hardworking? Are they ethical? Do they believe in fitness, or do they just want to make money from a franchise? If that's the case, there's Jiffy Lube and there's Subway. Go be a sandwich artist or change oil in a car, right? That's a transactional business. We are in a relational business. And so for someone to say, hey, look, in their application, I want to make lots of money. And I'm a capitalist, man. Like, I love money. Money is a vehicle to freedom. Money helps me help the causes that I believe in. But this is a service industry. It's transformational, what we do, not transactional. And our vivid vision is on our website. And it's on our website to use to do what a magnet does. It's either going to repel anybody who's like, whoa, this guy's too intense and his needs and demands are too high, even though he's willing to meet high needs and demands from me. On the flip side, it's going to attract the right people. And it's usually intense people just like me who are driven by fitness and love making money.
As I talked more with Bedros, I realized the tremendous amount of importance he placed on his vision and core values. So I asked him exactly what were the core values of Fit Body Bootcamp, and he said drive change and exceed expectations. But I wanted to know what that actually meant to him.
We're always going to do things to shake up the industry. So, we were the first ones to do 30-minute sessions. Why do we need 60-minute sessions with a client who's inactive and has a poor diet, right? We're not selling time, we're selling results. So when I came out the gate and said, hey, we're doing 30-minute sessions, everyone's like, no. The other place is charging what you're charging. They're giving 60-minute sessions. My answer to that was, if you came in here and I'm a dentist and you've got a toothache and it's just horrible toothache, do you want me to take an hour to pull it out, or do you want me to take a minute to pull it out? You want the outcome. You want the pain to go away. So if we can give you results in 20 minutes, the moment I figure out a 20-minute training program, you better bet Fit Body Bootcamp is changing again.
But he wasn't just driving change towards the experience that the members receive, but everywhere possible, including the way they marketed.
Most franchisees are marketing through FranNet, where these hired guns will go and find prospective franchisees to bring them in. And they say, look, this person can buy 5 of your franchises, but the franchisor has to pay $15,000 to $30,000 commission, finder's fee. Where does that money come from? From the franchise buy-in fee, which means they have to charge a high franchise buy-in fee. I believe that we can charge a low franchise buy-in fee because I'm not going to use FranNet. I'm not going to market in Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc. Magazine, Forbes Magazine, even though they put us on their list of fastest growing companies, because I'm going to chase their audience on Facebook. It's easier to chase them on Facebook, target them specifically, rather than running a $20,000 full page ad that questionably may convert 1 to 2 locations. I'll take that same 20 grand and convert 10 locations by chasing their audience, indoctrinating them, getting them to go, what is Fit Body Bootcamp, to 5 weeks later, I love this brand and I want to be a part of it. How do I get awarded one?
Learning how to advertise using popular social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram to gain new franchisees gives a franchise a real competitive edge. This helped Fit Body Bootcamp dramatically reduce their acquisition costs, which allowed them to make it more affordable for a franchisee to get started. And to help make his tribe even more successful, he's given them the opportunity to drive more revenue to their locations with ancillary sales.
We're launching our own supplement line now. We're not just white labeling the supplement. It's our own formulation, our own warehouses. Like everything I do, I go all in and do things completely different. Sure, I understand there's white label companies, but how does that make things different, right? The way we're gonna sell it in the locations, in the territories where the Fit Body location owners are, like it's gonna be a whole new thing. Out the gate, we're gonna come out and it's gonna generate another $10 million a month for our brand, a month, right? And so if you're gonna think, why not think possibility thinking and think big?
Supplement sales is one of the easiest ways to both deliver more value to your members and increase profits. The average person involved in a fitness routine spends about $90 per month on supplements. If your average profit margin per sale stays around 30%, you should be profiting an additional $30 per month per member that buys from you. If you have 300 members and can only get a third of them to get their supplements from you, you'd still be adding $3,000 to your bottom line each month, or over $36,000 per year. That's a free employee. Bedros mentioned that exceeding expectations was a core value of his. I wanted to see where that was applied in his business.
If you think I'm gonna show up this way, I'm gonna exceed your expectations in every way. We pick up the phone on the second ring. Emails are answered by the hour number 3 or sooner. When you show up to the headquarters, your pictures, literally, it doesn't matter if a franchisee's coming to visit or we're having a discovery day where we have 20 franchisees, we'll have thumbnails of them on our screens. The place is immaculate. Like anything you expect a Fit Body HQ is gonna look like, you're blown away. It's like walking into the Taj Mahal, right? We're talking about, we've got our elevator wrapped. I don't even want stainless steel elevators, right? We will exceed your expectation on every level. It's like reclaimed wood, not fake reclaimed wood. And we do all that, from the service to our franchisees, to their clients, to one of our franchise locations, personal trainer's mom died over the holidays. We saw someone put up a post and we immediately donated $10,000. Like, here you go. As a franchisor, I don't have that obligation, but I will do it because I will exceed all expectations because we're family. And when you do that, by the way, you begin to gain a lot of credibility with your franchisees, because as a franchisor, I don't do everything right. I don't do everything perfect. I mean to, but I don't. And so when I've won all that credibility or goodwill, there's going to be a time that comes where we did screw up, we did screw the pooch. Something did slip through the cracks because we are human. And we come to them and go, guys, we screwed up. We're sorry. Here's how we're going to make it right. And there's a lot of room of forgiveness because we always exceed expectations.
Crop dusters and fighter jets, two very different planes. And just like you can have two planes be very different, you can also have two people be very different. Here's how Bedros defines it.
Crop duster is simple. A crop duster is someone who is pessimistic, low energy, blames others, hits the snooze button in the mornings, is okay with being mediocre and average, clocks in a little late, clocks out a little early, does the bare minimum to maintain employment, and comes up with excuses when a problem is set in front of him or her. That is a crop duster. Now, if you're like, oh my God, you just described me, you probably need to do some deep internal work, right? On the flip side, you have a fighter jet who has high expectations of self and others around them. They never hit the snooze button. They're very clear on their personal vision, mission, and values. And they're not employees. They're part of a team. Because unlike employees, team has an objective and a team plays to win. Now, given those two definitions, do you want your employees to be fighter jets or crop dusters? Pretty obvious.
It's clear that you want strong fighter jets in your company helping you build your business with you. But is it okay to have a few crop dusters around?
When people ask me, can I have a couple, or what if I have one crop duster because I just really feel bad for this person, or I see so much potential, right? I'm sure Jeffrey Dahmer's mom saw potential in him. Unfortunately, he chose not to meet it. That's the reality. And this is what most people, they look at potential and not facts. And so, is it okay to have one crop duster floating around because you see the potential? Or is it okay to have one crop duster floating around because, well, they're making an effort? Or because you feel bad, you feel responsible for them, you don't want to hurt their feelings? Absolutely not, because of many reasons. One, odds are that crop duster is violating some kind of rule in your company. It's typically going to be time theft. They're showing up late, they're leaving early, they're not working to their fullest potential, so they're stealing time, they're costing you time. But it doesn't stop there, because you're like, I'm willing to accept that. Okay, your other employees or team members are now looking at that guy and saying, well, if he could do that, I could just bring myself down to that level. So now you have more time theft. You have people who are fighter jets now starting to slide into crop dusterville. And another thing happens. You begin to lose the respect of your employees, because when the leader allows even one crop duster in the formation, then immediately you begin to lose respect. And once you lose respect, you lose credibility. You lose credibility, you lose trust. You lose trust, you lose loyalty. You lose loyalty, you've lost it all. And so it's a very slippery slope. Your job as a leader is to get every crop duster to work up to a fighter jet or to work out of your business.
Fighter jets, also known as A players, like to play with other A players. B and C players usually annoy the A players, and more often than not, the A players either become B and C players themselves or leave to another company where there are more A players to work with. Either way, settling for any B or C players to stay on your team usually leaves you with just a staff of crop dusters. So, how do you find fighter jets?
Most people think that they need to hire fighter jets. It's rare. 1 out of every 10 people you hire will be a fighter jet. All fighter jets are developed. The reason is we all start off as a fighter jet. And someone's like, no way. And by the way, most people, the reason they hang on to crop dusters is they can see a lot of them inside that person. So when someone's like, man, I got a crop duster, I just feel for them, and I can tell like their heart bleeds for them. I go, you see a lot of yourself in that person, huh? And yeah, I do. Well, work yourself up to a fighter jet so that you can start building resentment towards that crop duster. But most people think, where do I get a pipeline of fighter jets coming in? You don't. You develop crop dusters into fighter jets. Once in a while, you'll get lucky, 1 out of 10 times, you will hire a fighter jet. There's 2 employees that I actually ended up losing. They were fighter jets, but the leader was a crop duster, me, right? So people are like, B, you're very intense. You're very hard on these people. I wasn't hard enough on myself. And I almost lost my relationship. My friend, all people see is this epic Fit Body Bootcamp growth that we're having. They don't see 2010, 11, 12, and part of 2013 where I was bleeding ulcers, where I was taking Vicodin and NyQuil to fall asleep, and waking up and taking Adderall and pre-workout because I was so foggy-headed. Wouldn't talk to my wife because I was so embarrassed of the money that we were losing. No one sees that. We were losing more franchisees back in 2011 and 12 than we were gaining every month, right? And so all they see is the shooting star that we are now. But all of that was not because we had bad franchisees, bad employees, or a bad wife. It was because we had a bad leader who was a crop duster. When that crop duster leader, and it's not a light switch, it's a dimmer switch, decides to do the work over the months and years, and you become a decent, effective leader, then you begin to have resentment towards the crop dusters around you. And that's what I started to develop.
Getting your team to this level is important so that you can have less employees coming to you, the business owner, with problems for you to solve versus solutions to problems you may or may not have even known you had. Bedros believes there are a few pillars of entrepreneurial leadership. Here's what he said.
Pillar number 1 is self-discipline. Wake up on time. Like when you make a promise to yourself the night before by setting your alarm, keep that promise. Wake up. Eat right. Get your workout on, because a fighter jet goes to battle should stay in fight weight the whole time. Look the part, be the part, have the high energy, be enthusiastic. Clean up your circle of influence. If you hang around with toxic, negative people, part ways with them. If you're partying on weekends and drinking wine and smoking weed and staying up late, stop those amateur habits and turn pro, my friend.
If you study the most successful people in history, you'll notice they're also the most disciplined. Einstein forced himself to get 10 to 11 hours of sleep each day. Bill Gates runs on the treadmill every morning while watching educational videos. Warren Buffett reads at least 6 newspapers after waking up. Tony Robbins jumps in an ice bath to start each day. Is that good for his body? Yes, but it's more powerful for the mind and one's ability to commit to a routine and be disciplined enough to stick to it.
Pillar number 2 is vision. Because once I'm disciplined, then I've won the right to say, guys, here's how I live my life. Here's how I plan on running my business. Pillar number 2 is vision, clarity of vision. You have to message that, right? Pillar number 3 becomes communication. How do you communicate with your employees? Most people are passive aggressive. They imply what they want, but they don't really say something. I had one of our Fit Body Bootcamp franchisees. I love her to pieces because she's an absolute control freak like I am, intense as the day is long. And she goes, Bedros, should it piss me off that when the coach at the end of the night vacuums the floor, I can tell that the vacuum didn't go all the way to the wall and back, and that the lines aren't straight. There's a gap between the lines, and there's like 2-inch strips that weren't vacuumed. I said, Sierra, I would pull my hair out. She goes, okay, so I'm not crazy? I go, no, they are lazy. She goes, I just feel like I'm being nitpicky if I call them out on it. I go, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? If that person is vacuuming that way, I promise you that when they're setting up the gym for today's workout and clients are coming in, they're setting up while the clients are coming in instead of having set up 20 minutes earlier and greeting every client at the door, high-fiving them, hugging them, or shaking their hand and calling them by their first name. What a difference, right? So how you do anything is how you do everything. That vacuuming leads to poor discipline in seeing the light bulbs burnt out, or that the battle rope took a big chunk of the paint off the wall. But we're desensitized to it. The marker board's crooked. The carpet's peeling off. Those details matter, because if I'm paying $150, $200 a month to work out at your place, I want absolute attention to detail.
Let's take things back a bit, way back. As a personal trainer before the Fit Body Bootcamp days, Bedros had a client named Jim Franco, who eventually became a mentor to him. Every single successful entrepreneur I've ever met attributes much of their growth to mentors. Here's how Jim helped Bedros see things in a different way.
He helped me become a better entrepreneur by giving me cassette tapes of Brian Tracy and Tom Hopkins and Zig Ziglar and Dan Kennedy and Jay Abraham and Tony Robbins. And now I'm learning influence and sales and marketing and persuasion and branding. And dude, all of a sudden, Jim's like, hey, why don't you open up your own personal training studio?
So he did. And with his new skills came confidence. And with that confidence, he began his entrepreneurial journey with the support of his mentor, Jim, and his partner.
Jim helped fund my first personal training studio. With the money generated from there, I opened up 4 more on my own over the next few years. And that was the catalyst. He was the catalyst to my entrepreneurial career.
Like most great mentors, Jim played a pivotal role in changing the way Bedros looked at business. This was also represented when he first introduced Bedros to EFT, also known as electronic funds transfer. This is where money is transferred electronically from one bank account to another, allowing you to avoid credit cards and their merchant fees altogether when collecting payments from your members. This type of switch in your payment system can increase profits by about 2% or more. And if your business does $500,000 per year, that could mean an extra $10,000 in your bank account. And it'll also help you avoid chargebacks and has proven to retain members longer. This helps your business get legs.
Jim Franco was like, dude, you got to put your clients on EFT. And I was like, why EFT? Like, why don't I just sell them like blocks of 10 or 15 sessions like a normal personal trainer does? I was still fixed-minded. He goes, because you want your business to have legs. I go, Jim, what is legs? I've got legs. How can a business have legs? He goes, that means the business is running on its own. Like, clients are contractually obligated to pay you month after month. So I did. In 2004, there was a brand of gyms, and I signed a non-disclosure confidentiality, so I can't share it, but there was a brand of gyms that was coming from the east out into the west coast, and they were buying up boutique gyms and personal training studios. The only reason, Mike, they offered to buy me out was not because of my brand, Premier Results, because that's not their brand. They're a pretty popular brand now. The only reason they offered to buy me out was because I had clients on 12-month contracts paying monthly dues. So they were buying my receivables.
Right.
So I called Jim. I'm like, Jim, this brand is coming through and they're offering me X amount of dollars to buy me out. Take it, kid. All right. I need help negotiating. So he helps me negotiate. So he gets obviously paid 50% of that first location. I get paid the rest. And now the year is 2004 and I've got several $100,000. And I'm like, holy smokes. And that's when I started coaching and consulting personal trainers, teaching them how I opened up my studios, how I ran my marketing, which was lead boxes at the time and word of mouth referrals. That was it. There was, the simpler times, when you only have 2 sources of marketing, 3 really, because then I figured out the lunch and learn, where you go to local businesses and you're like, hey, look, I'll bring you guys lunch, get everybody together. I'm going to teach you guys about fitness and fat loss, and then I'm going to give you guys all a free workout at my gym, right? And they loved it. So when you have 3 simple marketing strategies, like putting out lead boxes, asking for referrals, and doing lunch and learns, there's no complication for the one-off gym owner who says, look, what do I do? Do I do email marketing, text marketing, funnels, many chats? Am I Instagram or YouTube, or is it Google pay-per-click? What about SEO? How about, should I do a blog? What kind of funnel should I run, man? Oh, where does referral fall in all this place? Do I give commissions to my coach? None of that existed for me, right? And so I was in such a unique place. And so I was teaching these gym owners or prospective gym owners on how I built and sold my personal training studios. And I was like, look, I built them. I was profitable. I was so profitable. I sold them for almost $1 million, right? $1 million. And on top of that, then they paid me ongoing for the receivables. Yeah. So there was like front end money, back end money that they gave me, all because Jim Franco's like, build legs in your business.
Bedros also learned the importance of zigging when everyone else zags, in particular when it came to dealing with a recession.
I love Gary Vaynerchuk's story because he created VaynerMedia when the economy crashed, and he says, look, everybody else contracted and saved money and pulled out of marketing. He goes, I expanded. I did that too. He did it intentionally, knowingly. I did it out of necessity and survival. Like, I must create a new model for personal training. Otherwise, me, my wife, and my new baby boy are about to go live at my mom and dad's house. That was the truth.
When it comes to expanding, you want to make sure that you do it right, or it can bury you quickly. If you're a single location owner that's part of a franchise or not, you've probably already put thought into location number 2. But when do you know for sure that it's the right time to build that second location?
To me, it's a two process thing. One, do you have the place systematized where you can leave away, you can disappear for a month. Aliens can come and abduct you for a month, and the place runs on, not only runs, but grows, continues to grow. Because oftentimes people are like, no man, I've got systems in place all day long, Mike. And then I will prove to them that they don't. I go on a 2-week vacation, and I will prove that they are the human system. They're just the glue that's holding it together. Typically the owner is the glue holding the business together, but he believes or she believes that they have systems in place when they are the ones running the machine. A real system is something that any employee can do to create a predictable outcome, right? And if you have that, then you can go away for 2 weeks, 2 months, So one, systems in place that automate the business and prove that it can still run and grow without your presence there for at least 30 days. And two, you must be bursting at the seams and not just bored. A lot of owners go, I'm bored, it's rocking, things are great, I'm making good profits. Dude, I'm taking $17,000 home per month. I'm okay, I'm good. I'm ready for a second location, because they want to go through the hunt. As entrepreneurs, you want to go through the hunt of finding a location, building it out, hiring staff, that new fresh feeling again. My question to them is, hey, are you bursting at the seams? Can you add 20 more bodies? Yeah. 30 more bodies? Yeah. 50 more bodies? No. 40? Yeah. Great. Let's get those other 40 bodies in at $150 a month. You're bursting at the seams, you're getting complaints that it's too crowded, then you open up your next location.
A few years back, I got to spend some time with Marcus Lemonis from CNBC The Profit. And in our conversation, his message to me was the same as it is on his show. You've got to have good people, good process, and a good product. If you've paid attention closely today, you've heard Bedros cover all three. Getting a good handle on your processes can be a lot of work and is usually unattractive for most entrepreneurs to do. I personally love the book Scaling Up for creating great processes within a business, but I also really like Bedros' recommendations as they're some of my favorites.
So some great books to read are Drive by Daniel Pink, Traction, Double Double, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink is a great one. Profits First also comes to mind, and then The E-Myth. If an entrepreneur who's starting out just read those 6 books, and let's just throw a 7th one in there, Man Up, about leadership. That's also about leadership, my book. Let me just be selfish for a reason. Those 7 books, I'm not a big fan of the person who read 700 books. I'm a big fan of a person who read 7 books 10 times. Because there's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Love that book. I'm on my 8th time through that. My wife is on the 7th version. I'm on the 8th version of that, or 8th time through it, and I keep pulling out new nuggets. Outwitting the Devil. And these 2 last books, every entrepreneur should read, but that should be book number 8 and 9. Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill. I'm on my 6th time reading that. And each time I'm like, oh my gosh, where was this in the book last time? Well, it was there, I just wasn't at a place that I needed that. Dude, those are important, those are the pillars. And you gotta read and reread and reread. Like an athlete doesn't go and run their best 1 mile and then go, okay, well great, I had a 4-minute mile, I can go do the Olympics. You have to keep practicing if you wanna keep that practice up and sharp.
A big challenge that fitness studios and gyms are claiming to face today is the explosion of the boutique fitness studio space. With so much competition constantly opening up, how does one stand out and continue to flourish?
When someone says there's an oversaturation in my community and everyone's doing it at a cheaper cost, look, no one's gonna win the race to the bottom. My argument is, what are you gonna do to be the Rolls Royce of your organization? There's always enough customers in any community who will pay $400 for a boot camp. Like I always tell people, look, I can parachute in any town, USA, and within 6 months, I'd rather get 100 people paying $600 a month than 600 people paying $100 a month. Like that's the model I love. I love high-priced programs. The reason is, if I have 100 people paying $600 a month, first off, people who pay more attention, so I'm gonna get compliant clients. Number 2, if I only have 100 clients instead of 600, less staff, less customer service needs, less ticking time bombs as far as employees are concerned, right? But how do I feel so confident that I could parachute in any town and do this? Is it ego? No. It's time under tension. It's sets and reps over 20 years. I know that I would parachute into any town and I would immediately start making friends with all of the people who already have my clients. Wait, what? What do you mean? Yeah, in any town, there's businesses who already have your clients. Maybe the bank, maybe the real estate agent already has your customers, because the people who bought homes for $1 million or more are probably going to be my customers who are going to pay me $600 a month for boot camp. Yeah, I would charge $600 a month for boot camp. Why not? Why not? Just because the boot camp down the street charges less. So I would find the top 100 businesses that already have my prospects and customers, and I would be so good to those business owners and their clients by letting them work out for free for the first 60 days, delivering amazing, massive results to them, showing up with coffee and donuts and flowers and edible arrangements to their locations. Like it's investing. Someone's thinking, well, I don't have that kind of money. Guess what? Refinance your house, sell a kidney, go to the bank, figure it out, sell a car. Do whatever you have to do to get the money. Because if you have the money to grease the wheels of the people who already have your customers, soon they're gonna go, dude, you're letting me train for free, you're bringing food to me, I look amazing. Mike, how can I help you? Well, if you would just send your best clients over to me for this 2-week trial for $67, I would greatly appreciate it. Here's the emails that I wrote. Here's a text message you can send out to them. They're gonna flood your business with customers. Once I do that, then I'm gonna start running funnels. And my funnels are not gonna be to a 6-week challenge or a low barrier offer. It's gonna be to testimonials and case studies of those business owners and their customers who have gotten amazing results. People buy human interest. They buy outcome and results. They buy relatability.
Saturation really only exists for the average and below average. Think of it this way. There are about 10,000 college basketball players looking to make it into the NBA each year. The NBA can only have 360 active players at one time. But when you're LeBron James, you not only make it into the NBA, you also get as much playing time as you want, and you even get to pick the team you play on and have others fight over you. If you want to succeed in a saturated market, become the LeBron James of whatever you do. Bedros not only does this to grow his individual studios, but also to get new franchisees. And he does it with great storytelling.
All of our Fit Body Bootcamp franchise ads, they don't say that we're the 4-time Inc. 5000 fastest growing company and 2-time Entrepreneur Listed 500 company. We don't even mention that shit. We just go meet Matt Wilbur. He owns 7 Fit Body Bootcamp locations. He started off in his grandma's basement with 2 credit cards that were overdrawn, right? Meet Stephanie Flynn, Fit Body Bootcamp owner, 4 locations, Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? We tell her story, show her story as a single mom. And as you do these things, people go, I can relate to her, I can relate to him. My story is very similar to that. Yeah, I am curious. And we don't go, hey, you should start a Fit Body Bootcamp. We go, maybe you're curious if there's a territory available in your area. Click here to enter your zip code to see if there's a territory available. We start the conversation at a so non-threatening level. So once you show case studies of clients who have lost 100 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pounds, but don't just show the before and after pictures. Tell their story. Even if you're using your iPhone, you don't need a whole videography team. Use your iPhone to tell that story. Ask them these questions. Why did you start working out with me? How was life before you lost 100 pounds? How did people treat you? How did you treat yourself? How do you feel now? How do your kids look at you? How do others look at you? What would you say to someone who was curious about working out at my gym here? Those 8 questions answered by someone, properly edited by you on your iPhone using iMovies, used as a case study, and now you retarget to them, right? But I'm still talking to the 100 business owners. I haven't forgotten them. I haven't forgotten them, Mike. And it's that. And now that I've got clients, as they're starting, as I sign them up, I go, Mike, welcome aboard to Fit Body Bootcamp Chino Hills. As I help you achieve your fitness and fat loss results of losing 60 pounds over the next 12 months, can I count on you to help me achieve my business goals, which is to help 10,000 people in the city of Chino Hills over the next 5 years? Can I ask you to refer your friends and family and coworkers to me as I prove to you that I can get your results? And you're gonna say yes. And now I've set the condition of doing business. So now I've got the most influential people in the city, the top 100 businesses, eating out of my palm and referring their customers to me. I'm running case study ads and retargeting funnels to them. Now it's working, right? A case study ad where I can show a compelling video and then say, hey, look, would you want to try a free week? Like, that's the lowest barrier offer. Come try a free week. People go, oh, Groupons don't work, free offers don't work. No, you just don't know how to close. You don't know how to build a relationship. You don't know how to deliver value because you just want people to drop their pants and give you their money. That's not going to happen, right? It's funny that you can actually go through a whole courtship process for 2 years to win someone over to get married, but you're willing to go through the courtship process of courting your community. And that's why people blame oversaturation. But the oversaturation will get fixed, and it's going to get fixed when the economy recorrects itself. The problem is, are you still going to be that crappy gym owner, delivering crappy service, using crappy marketing, and never asking for referrals, never running funnels properly, too afraid to go to the local business owners, and just going, well, good, I survived, so now I'm thriving because there's less competition, because then the economy is going to recorrect the other way again, and then you're going to blame saturation. It's a cycle that continues. Losers will always lose. Winners will always win. Become a winner.
Remember how I said earlier that the most successful people are extremely disciplined? Well, it isn't just difficult to be disciplined for unsuccessful people, it's tough for anyone. But how do winners succeed in this more than others? Listen how Bedros uses rubber bands to build better habits.
People will always make excuses about things. And when you make an excuse, if no one says, hey man, you just made an excuse, or hey man, you're acting like a crop duster, you're not going to be reminded. But if you make an excuse and you know you made an excuse and you snap that rubber band, it's just a little mild reminder, a little sting that I'm not going to do this. So to me, it makes simple to just have some visceral reminder of things. An excuse rubber band does that. Wear something around your wrist, especially if you're trying to build a new habit. And if the habit is to be positive, and every time you're negative, snap yourself.
Yeah.
Soon, you begin to be positive more frequently, so you don't snap yourself, and then throw away the rubber band.
Bedros is known for his phrase, man up. He lives it, breathes it, and shares it as his message to the world.
Man up is not gender specific. No penis required to read man up. Let me just tell you that right now, because man up really is human up. And the reason I say man up on the cover is because when I was a crop duster of a leader, indecisive, poor communicator, emotionally reactive, undisciplined as a boss, and as a human, I had a business partner that we were very adversarial, yet I was afraid to part ways with him. I was willing to deal with all the stress and anxiety and turmoil and financial loss and bad reputation in our business, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings. And one day, he did something that broke the camel's back. And even then, I was so afraid to confront him. Mike, as I was driving to our office, I just kept looking in my rearview mirror as I'm driving, and I just said, man up, Bedros. It's time to man up. Those 5 words over and over again. It's time to man up. Just man up. It's time to man up. And I almost went into Starbucks, and I almost made a U-turn and went back home. I almost decided, well, maybe he meant X, but he did Y. I would always come up with excuses for him. I had to man up my way to that office. I had to man up my way out the car. I had to man up my way into the office. And then I had to man up and open my mouth and say, hey buddy, you're a good human being. We just don't see business the same way. We need to part ways. Either you leave or I leave. And I gave him the option that I can walk away from Fit Body Boot Camp at that time. The year was 2011, maybe 2012. It's all blur now. And I said, look, I've put in $300,000 out of my pocket. Just tell me you're going to pay me back over payments, and I'll walk away. Because I had my coaching and consulting business anyway, and that started to pick up again by 2011, 2012. He said, no, I don't want Fit Body Boot Camp. You can buy me out. So I bought him out. But that was my first man up moment. And to me, man up or human up is one simple thing. Stop making excuses for yourself or others. Take control of the situation, which I refused to do before, and rise to your potential. And I had the potential to have this dialogue with him, but I refused to out of fear, out of didn't want to hurt his feelings, out of didn't want to deal with the wake of what was going to happen when I had this conversation. But it's man up, stop making excuses, take control of the situation, and rise to your potential. Because as humans, we are the top of the food chain, and you deserve to have a spectacular life. But you've got to do the work for it.
Bedros and I share a friendship with a man named Ed Milet. And Ed said something to Bedros and I on separate occasions that stuck with us both.
I think when I was born with a destiny, with a man I'm capable of becoming. That's what I think, right? And I have this hallucination at the end of my life.
When I go to heaven and I'm standing at those pearly gates,
I'm going to get introduced to the man I could have been.
This is the potential of who Ed Milet was going to be.
The wealth, the power, the influence, the giving, the contribution, the travel, the memories, all those things. There's a man I'm capable of becoming that I was made to be.
I want to go, man, we're twins. And not like, oh my gosh, I could have been that guy, and I don't recognize that guy.
Every decision you make in your life ought to be, is what I'm doing right now get me a step closer to getting introduced to that person someday? Or does it move me away from him or her?
And so I realize we all have such tremendous potential. Like, look at Fit Body Boot. I now have equity in 3 other franchises. I'm starting a supplement brand that's about to come out the gate doing $10 million a month, not a year. Right? Like, I make big, giant moves. Like, that's my potential. In 2011, I couldn't keep the wheels on the bus. I couldn't break even. Never mind make profit. Mike, I couldn't break even. That guy turned into this guy. It's not because I was bestowed magical knowledge, wisdom, and work ethic. It's because I worked my tail off to do the right thing, even when it was uncomfortable, until I got the outcome.
I've been blessed to sit with some of the most influential fitness professionals and entrepreneurs over the last few years, and Bedros is one of those guys. Thanks for watching. If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, or YouTube. And to watch more episodes and get exclusive links from each episode, go to gsdshow.com. Again, that's gsdshow.com.